you should be very proud of yourself and give yourself grace that you survived the situation that you were in. But like, I just want to show other people. I think my biggest goal is to show other people that there is a life after abuse. I
Yeah.
mean, I am happily married and I help people to date intentionally. I help those who have survived abusive relationships just really try to get to a place where they're so comfortable and with themselves. Having that
Exactly.
relationship with yourself be
Yes.
repaired after years of neglect and abandonment didn't even know we were doing because we were taught at a young age to not trust our own instincts.
Welcome to the That's Where I'm At podcast. I'm Laura, happily divorced after spending years with a narcissist. I believe keeping secrets will make you sick and that they always come to light in the end. As women, we're often told to be quiet, don't share your story, don't talk about the things we go through. It's making women sick, sad, and suicidal. We don't have to be on the other side to share our story. This show is for the women still in the middle of the mess, but showing up bravely as they heal. It's time to share these stories with each other so we can learn, grow, and heal together. I'm Laura, and that's where I'm at. Please take note that this episode may contain subjects that may be triggering to certain listeners. Please take care when listening today. Hi, guys, and welcome back to the That's Where I'm At podcast. Today I have Coach Nia Renee. Coach Nia Renee is a certified narcissistic abuse relationship recovery coach, author, and advocate dedicated to helping survivors rebuild their lives after emotional and psychological abuse. As the founder of How to Love a Battered Woman LLC and creator of the Battered Hearts Rising methodology, she guides individuals through healing, self-reconnection, and the rebuilding of self-trust after toxic and manipulative relationships. So I think I'm going to stop there and then you can tell us the rest. Welcome to the show, Coach Nia Renee.
Thank you for having me. That was certainly a mouthful. Sorry
Right?
about that.
No, don't worry about it. No, I'm the same way. When they ask me for my bio, I'm like, which one?
Yeah,
Because
like
I have a long one.
which do you want? I have so many. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that pretty much sums it up of who I am and what I do. The
Yeah.
biggest part is the advocacy piece. That's the biggest thing. You always see me yelling or shouting about injustices that are going on that needs more attention to it, especially right now with like the Epstein files and
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
um,
And I was glad you brought that up. I think I saw one of your videos yesterday. I'm like, oh, let's talk. So I
yeah.
mean, there's a lot of heavy stuff happening in the world right now. And the way we're having this, we're in narcissistic abuse in our
Yeah.
country. And that's what, when I say it, I have friends around me who are like, are we? I'm like,
Yes.
yes. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, he's a malignant narcissist. So, yes. And so I've been posting videos and saying, like, okay, this is what abusers do. And then I just like give an example of when he's
Yeah.
doing something because people don't believe it. And of course, we know there's betrayal blindness and all that where people just don't see it. So, tell me how you got into doing this work. Was it a personal journey?
Yeah, it was definitely a personal journey for me. I actually started posting a lot of videos on TikTok. I was doing skits and I just had a lot of examples of what abusive relationships looked like. Well, what my abusive relationships looked like.
Yeah.
Because I've been in several different abusive relationships and
Oh, okay.
I was doing skits on what they look like and was then people started asking me if I offered any coaching sessions or if
Oh,
I
okay.
was doing anything like that. And I was like, oh, no. And then I started to think about it and I didn't really want to do it until I had some type of like credentialing behind me.
Okay.
And I was studying to get my master's degree. But then I ended up getting a relationship coaching certificate. So I'm certified in relationship coaching
Hmm.
and life coaching. So I'm double certified in both. So I decided to get my certifications in that. And then I launched my coaching business. And then I just started kind of putting together things that really worked for me because so many of my clients would ask me so many personal questions of like,
Oh, okay.
well,
Yeah.
what did you do? Or how did this work for you?
Yeah, I get
And
the
they
same
wanted to,
thing. Yeah.
yeah. because they genuinely want to see how it worked. Like we're the live product of how things worked.
Exactly. Yeah.
So then I just decided to put together what I call my community the Battered Hearts. And
Hmm.
so I put together, it's called the Battered Hearts Rising Path.
Hmm.
And it actually just got trademarked. I'm so excited
That's
about that.
exciting.
Yeah, I
Cool.
just got the trademark for that. And it's a three-step process, really. And I don't want to spend too much time on, I don't want to be promoting myself and doing all
Yeah.
of
And then they can come
um
work with you if they want to know all the steps. And
yeah,
but
yeah,
you're more than
exactly.
welcome to give an overview. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be one of those people. I don't want to spend too much time, But it is a three-step process that I have, and I love that it felt so authentic to me because it's
Yeah.
genuinely the things that I did that helped me navigate my relationships, but most importantly, navigate the relationship that I had with myself. So,
That's so key.
yeah,
That was the biggest thing for me too. I left my marriage without knowing what narcissistic abuse was. And I'm like, I don't even like myself. I'm gonna go work on that, because of course, being told really, for 33 years I was with my ex, being told that I wasn't that great of a person anyway, and everything was
yeah,
my fault. So of course I was like, I gotta go work on myself because am I a terrible person?
right.
And then I started to unravel everything. When was the last time you were in an abusive relationship?
2019
Okay.
was
Wow.
when I left.
Okay.
Final abusive relationship that I was in. And I like
Yeah.
declared in that moment, like, this is the last abusive relationship I will ever be in.
Yeah. And what had happened before have you go from one to another? Where were you in your life and the way you felt about yourself that you think when looking back, that what patterns did you have?
A lot of what I endured honestly came from my childhood.
Okay.
So I'm
Yeah.
a childhood sexual abuse survivor.
Okay.
My mom, my siblings used to sexually abuse me. And then my
Um,
mother was a narcissist, like a malignant narcissist.
yeah.
Is why I feel very familiar with everything that's going on right now.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm reliving my childhood all over again.
Right.
But yeah, so the patterns from being in a chaotic household and feeling like I needed to be treated a certain way
Yeah.
was modeled in my childhood.
Hmm.
And so it led to me being in abusive relationships, and those relationships felt familiar. So I thought that I
Right.
was supposed to stay in them because that's just how relationships are. And
Right.
that's not the truth. That's just not how relationships are. But how do you know that when you're caught up in the middle of it and that's
Right.
all that you know?
Right. If that's the only thing that's been modeled to you. And also, I didn't really know until I started doing the work was I think I had a subconscious thing of, I don't know if I deserve anything better than
Mm,
this because I'm doing my very best.
right.
That's what I thought. I was working hard every time he had a problem with me. I was working hard to change it. So I was the best I could be. And he seemed like such a great guy. Everybody thought so. And that's why I had a covert narcissist. And so that's why I named my book, Married to a Nice Guy, because everybody thought he was such a nice guy. And so
Mm,
it was so confusing. I was so brainwashed because I thought everything's my fault. And he's so great. And he would even say, everybody likes me but you. And I'd be like, maybe I'm missing something because I
yeah.
don't get it. Right.
Yeah. That's the hardest part because
Yeah.
it's like you guys have no idea what's going on behind closed doors.
That's it.
And we sometimes we try to like when I so like I just had this realization the other day. Like
Uh-huh.
I'm removed from my abusive relationship from college. That guy is just now some guy I dated in college.
Okay.
It's not my whole entire existence of like being
Yeah.
still so wrapped up in the fact that he had abused me.
Yeah.
And you get what I'm saying? Like I'm not
Yeah.
trapped in that bubble of like, oh my
Hmm.
God, that my abuser did like he's just a guy that I dated once in
Hmm.
college now.
Yeah.
But when I dated that guy in college, we had this image around the college campus and with our friends. And even when
Oh,
social media was starting to, like Instagram was starting to be a
yeah.
bigger platform, Like we were that couple on social media that everybody
Yeah.
was looking at. And so we had this image to preserve. But then
Yeah.
it's just like, you guys have no idea what's going on behind closed doors. And
Yeah.
then when I finally try to tell you guys what's going on behind closed doors, you're like, oh no, you should stay because he loves you so much. And it's just
Yes.
like, I'm crying, like I'm screaming for help
Right.
because I'm doubting my own instincts.
Right. Exactly. And that's the hard part. And even with everything going on now, look, as I don't have childhood sexual abuse, but this is all too familiar for me too. Hearing, are you sure that happened? All those things. So, like having women come forward and say, like, and then also having facts out on the table saying, like, this happened. Are you sure? And you know
Yeah.
what? We're not really going to do anything about it because he seems like a great guy, or they seem like great guys, or whatever. It's so hard. I have somebody who was on my show and she goes around the country to colleges actually speaking about this kind of thing, like, intimate partner violence and just all these things, right? And hers was a similar thing. She had a boyfriend in college and she's made a career of it. Is it her identity that was her abuser? No, like she now helps people. And so
Yeah.
totally,
Like,
it totally makes sense. It's a balance, right?
yeah. No, I looked at that too. It's like at one point I was so consumed by it, but now it's just a story that I tell.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
It,
And
it
people can relate,
yeah.
especially at that age. Like we do not have a full brain making any kind of good decisions.
We don't realize that a lot, especially, but the thing is too, is like the thing that frustrates me the most, and though I realize that like it's fiction and I understand that a lot of
Okay.
like things are fiction, but it's still so normalized
Mhm.
in the media,
It is. Yeah.
domestic violence.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so normalized. So when you have relationships that mirror what's happening on TV, like how do you know?
Yeah.
Do
What's
you
wrong
get
and
what I'm
what's,
saying? What, yeah.
yeah,
And so
exactly.
I think that's where I have a hard time when, I mean, it's glamour. At least
Yeah.
when I was in college, it was glamorized so much when you look at things like the shows that I watched, like Love,
Okay.
Hip Hop and
Yeah.
Basketball Wives
Yeah.
and Mob Wives
Yeah.
and just all of those Jersey Shore. Like Jersey Shore had one of the biggest DV relationships that was just so normalized that I don't
Mhm.
think anybody talks about. And it's Ron and Sammy. And they had the
Okay.
big, like they had a huge like blow up like almost
Mhm.
every single day. And it was just a very abusive relationship that was just so normalized. So of course, when you're in college and you're dating
Right.
and things are chaotic and crazy, because you're watching it and seeing it on TV as well
Mhm.
as it was coming from your own life. Like, yeah, I see why I ended up in abusive relationships because it
Right.
was just so normalized.
Well, and I talk about that all the time, how we're so societalized as women with so many things, the Disney movies, right? And it's like, and the love bombing, and you say no, but they pursue you until you say yes, and it's romantic. And it's like, no, it's crossing boundaries,
Yeah.
it's and all that love bombing and the sweeping you off your feet, the fairy tale. And it's like, no, like slow down. We do
Yeah.
not need to go this fast. Like maybe it feels like a fairy tale, but like don't go anywhere with that. And
Yeah.
that's why it's like we're trying to talk about those words that they say, like in that love bombing stage, just saying, like, I've never met anybody like
Yeah.
you. You're everything I've ever wanted. And
The
for me,
grandiose,
what was that?
very grandiose.
Very grandiose. And for me, I had such a deep need to be loved. Oh my God, that listening to that, my God, I bought it hook, line, and sinker, and so that's the hard part and why it feels good for somebody to say that. But I mean, we ran to the altar and all those things. And so it's like, we can slow down. We can slow down because you need time to see what's going on around you, to see how they are. And maybe you'll be able to see when the mask starts falling off or paying attention to, like, I always say, like, listen to those backhanded compliments when they're telling you, I was just kidding, all those kinds of things. But that's why I always talk about it. If we don't love ourselves and have those good boundaries, those healthy boundaries, that kind of stuff just went over my head. And I was like, oh, he didn't mean it. It's okay. He didn't mean it
But
because I also grew up like that.
yeah, well, and then, well, exactly. But I think it's deeper than us loving ourselves. I think
Mm,
it's much deeper than that because how do we love ourselves if we've never been shown how to be loved
yes. Oh,
properly?
for sure. For sure.
Until I met my best friend, fully platonic relationship with
Uh-huh.
my best friend, and she has given me love conditional because I believe love is conditional. I don't
Yeah.
believe love is unconditional.
Right.
I believe love is conditional.
Yeah, I love that.
But
Yeah.
it was in structured and showed me what healthy love was. And she said, if people in your life don't treat you the way that I treat you, which by the way is the bare minimum,
Wow.
then they shouldn't be in your life. And that opened my eyes so much. So
Yeah.
my comparison to people, I'm just like, do you treat me the way my best friend treats me?
Right.
And I married the male version of my best friend.
I love that.
It's like literally insane. Like they're both blonde, blue-eyed. It's insane how similar they are, honestly.
Well, she told you.
But she
Right.
did tell me. But yeah, no, she did tell me. So shout out to my best friend for that.
I
But
love
I think sometimes it's deeper. I think sometimes I really hate when we say, well, if I just loved myself more,
Yeah.
because how do you know
Right.
what love is if it was never modeled for you in a safe way?
Right.
So we still bear responsibility that doesn't belong to us.
Yes, you're right. I mean, you're right. And so it's really okay. So loving ourselves, but really looking at our patterns and then learning or
Mhm.
having to unlearn
Yeah.
patterns and then learning new patterns as we're going forward.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why to me, it just breaks my heart. I work with women in midlife who were in marriages or relationships as long as I was. Okay. Decades. And it breaks my heart in my groups. They're like, they just threw me away. And it's like, that was the most painful thing because to be that I couldn't reconcile that. I had such a hard time going, I really hate this guy and I really miss him. My brain did not even know how to work with that at all. But until I understood, I could feel both things. But man, that was the hardest thing. And so just talking about that in my groups and how we have to work through that with the trauma bond. Are you guys talking about that in your coaching and all
Yes.
that? Yeah.
Yes. Trauma bonding is definitely discussed. It's one of the major focuses in the first phase of my coaching program.
Uh-huh.
Is a lot focused around that. I think the biggest thing is teaching self-awareness.
Yeah.
That is because the more you're self-aware, the more you pay attention to what your body is telling you, the
It's
more that
good.
you to your gut instincts, the more you realize that you trust yourself to make decisions,
Yeah.
the more it helps you have those intentional relationships with the people around you. Because if you're anxious around somebody, then you got to pay attention to why you're anxious around that person,
Right.
right? If you're
Hmm.
scared around someone, you've got to pay attention to why you're scared around someone. If
Hmm.
you're free and able to be yourself, you got to be able to pay attention to that as well, and being able to see the good that's in that. But in doing that, we have to be self-aware. But
Yeah.
sometimes for us, when we're still in the victim stage,
Yeah.
it's hard to feel that pain. It's hard to
Yeah.
acknowledge the pain that's there because it feels like it's going to break you and it feels like you're never going to get to the other side of it. And that's not true. You have to give it a chance.
Yeah. Exactly. It does feel so hard. And that's why we need to keep talking about it. It's like, look, there's hope. Like you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And tell me if this happened to you when you started healing and being more aware, having new patterns, all those different things, setting healthy boundaries, that there were certain people in your life that were no longer there. There were just like the friendships and I don't know, just things like that. The friendships and things were starting to look a little different.
Yeah, so I've lost a lot of friendships,
Mhm.
if I'm being honest,
Yeah.
because a lot of those relationships mirrored my childhood relationships.
Wow.
And I didn't realize that. And once I got sick, I'm a six-time brain surgery survivor.
Oh, okay.
I have a few brain conditions, and once I got sick, I really realized who was my real friend
Yeah.
and who wasn't there for me. And it's just been a journey of being having to be okay with letting go of people who have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Because sometimes those are the people that are continuing that you continue the cycle of abuse with.
Yeah. They're kind of keeping you stuck.
Yeah.
I had that issue. I did have some close friends that I kept when I was in therapy, and I was like, I don't know. I feel like I'm still in like this cycle with them. And my therapist said, "Are you compromising yourself? Do you feel like you are?" And I'm like, "Yes." But I literally was like, "I'm willing to for this friendship. I don't want to lose this friendship," but I couldn't do it. Like when you when you see it, you can't unsee it. And so there was no way for me to continue moving forward with any kind of integrity to continue a friendship where I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you're almost like my ex-husband and I can't continue with being treated the way I was being treated." It's hard. And I think it's hard when I'm talking to women who are like, I'm surprised at the people who left my life. And I try to remind them because people had to remind me the bad people, or the wrong people, I should say, the wrong people are going to leave your life and there'll be room for the right people to come in closer.
Yeah. And also being a little bit more, being cautious, but being open
Yeah.
to new relationships
Hmm.
and giving yourself a chance to allow new people in, new safe people at your own pace. You don't
Hmm.
have to rush it. You don't have to be at anyone else's pace but your own.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yes. I think talking about different ways of healing and different things to try, I think is good to share. But like we were talking about at the beginning, it's like people want to know, like, what did you do? How did it, because they see like the success on the other side. It's like you're not going to go through the exact same thing.
Right.
Everybody has their own journey to go on. So I always try to give ideas, but it's like what's going to work for you is going to be different than maybe what worked for me.
Yeah. I cried a lot and I talked a lot. That's what I did. I cried a lot, but I talked about it a lot.
Yeah. I'm
I didn't
glad you said that because I never cried so much in my entire
I
life.
mean, I cried so much. It just happened. I just needed to get out all of that pain,
Yes.
all the times I couldn't cry because there are times where,
Right.
you're having things said to you and you're in the middle of one of their tantrums and if you react,
Yeah, of course.
it's gonna make them react even bigger. So I cried for all the times that I couldn't cry,
Yeah.
and I started talking about for all the times that I couldn't talk, for all the times that I couldn't talk back, for
Yes.
all the times that I started to take my voice back. So I cried a lot, I talked a lot, I journaled a lot,
Yeah.
I wrote a lot. I really honed in on how I was truly feeling and
Yeah.
acknowledging what I needed outside of that. And that's honestly one of the biggest things that I tell my clients is like pay attention to how you feel and what you need
Yes.
moment. Like
Yeah.
how am I feeling right now and what do I need?
Yeah. The other thing I did a lot, of course, was sleep because my nervous
That-
system was regulated. But yes, I've never cried so much in my life. And I did. I felt like all the years, all the decades were just being cried out of everything. And there was a time where when I started my podcast, it was like maybe 9 months or so after I got out. And I was in the middle of doing something. And I said, wait a second. Did I start a podcast because nobody would listen to me?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I did. So when I first started, when I was just making these nice little videos on social media because I got a divorce for irreconcilable differences.
Mm,
Okay. And then 3 months later, the bomb dropped and I found out all the lies and I started unraveling everything and everything came into focus. And I started finding out what he was doing and what he had done. And so then I started making some really snarky videos and it was great. But it came from a place like you just said. I needed to talk, so I talked. And if that, I was never this person. Like 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, I wasn't this person. I would never have a microphone. I would never say what I really truly believed. I would never give you my opinion because I was too scared that you would reject me.
Yeah.
And so, when did you start doing things on social media and what did that look like?
I started on 2021 and I got on TikTok. I got on TikTok at the end of 2020
Okay.
and then I started maybe 2021. I
Yeah.
don't know, early
Yeah.
2021. And I just started talking.
Yeah.
I
About your
started
experience.
about my experiences. I started telling stories. I did like these bits where it was like, here's quotes from what my ex used to say to me. And then I
Yeah.
would put like one of those like little fancy songs to it
Yeah.
and then read some of the quotes. And like, yeah, I'd like make
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
lighthearted.
Right.
Try to make some of the heavy stuff not so heavy.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
and then I started doing skits and my skits started to blow up. I don't know what it was
I know.
about those skits, but it was just me reenacting encounters that I had endured by my exes.
Yeah.
And then I started incorporating how my husband reacts to
I
things
love that. Yeah.
and how the healthy side of the relationship looked. And so I started doing part ones and part twos, and then people really loved that.
Yeah.
And then I got sick, and then I just didn't have
Oh,
to do the skits as much anymore. And so now
yeah.
it's kind of hard trying to get back into talking content because those videos don't do as well as the
Yeah.
skits do.
I
Um,
know. It's crazy.
it's
It's the
crazy
same
how
way.
social media
Yeah.
works, but
Same way with me. I have a skit out right now that's doing better than my other videos. I'm like, I got stuff to say, guys.
yeah.
Come listen. But
Yeah, come see what I'm talking about.
I
But
know, but they kind of like it. And I mean, I did say I was going to use humor, and that really, when I'm using humor, that seems to be what my audience wants to see. So,
yeah, I mean, because I get it. Things are so heavy right now. And
yes,
I honestly, when it comes to content, I've been having such a hard time making content right now and trying to get new clients because it's like the world is literally falling apart.
yes,
And I don't want to be on the internet like, hey, I'm Coach Nia
I
Renee. I've
know.
got a coaching package for you. And
Yeah.
it just feels so inauthentic to me.
It's so hard. It's such a balance right now. I'm just trying to remember. I'm not doing like as much as I was before or the same way because I do feel really heavy with what's going on. And I'm also trying to acknowledge people who are saying things in my comments and talk about what's going on to a
Yeah.
certain extent. And, but also like, okay, well, I have a support group. Like, come to our support group. Like, we can talk about all this stuff in there. Just trying to get people to know that there's still support while the world is on fire, which
Yeah.
is so hard. I don't want to abandon everybody. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a
Yeah.
balance to
It
try
is
and do that.
valid.
It's so
Yeah.
hard. Talk to me about if people are feeling triggered with what's going on with the Epstein files, because with, I don't have child sexual abuse, but I have experiences with that with so many friends and family. So tell me about what's something that people can be doing when they are hearing these things, and like, what have you been doing? How are you being triggered?
Yeah, I'm constantly triggered by this because I'm actually going through the actual files. Like I've
Mm,
dedicated my time to
yeah.
going through the files and
Okay.
seeing them for myself. And I've been
Yeah.
doing write up. I mean, honestly, I've been having nightmares.
Yeah.
I've needed to step away a few times, and it's fair for all of us citizen journalists, I guess is what it's called,
Oh, okay.
that are sleuths or whatever you want to call it,
Yes.
that are
Yeah.
going through the files and finding things. And I actually have a team of people right now that I was like on threads. I was like, I need somebody who can read cursive because I have a document that could implicate Donald Trump that was removed from the DOJ site
Oh,
that's
okay.
written in cursive, and I can't read all of it. So I'm like, I need
Yeah.
cursive experts. Like I need people. So I've literally had like thousands of people DM me, and so I have like
Yeah.
teachers and stuff reading those right now and transcribing it because having a hard time reading it. But it's like in these times I'm having to find things that make me happy. So I'm just doing things
Okay.
that make me happy, like reading. I've been reading a ton of books. I have a book goal of 50 books that I want to read this year. And I
Wow.
usually have a book goal every year, and it's usually 50, but sometimes I make it, sometimes I don't. And this year I really want to make it. I missed it last year by like 8 books.
Yeah.
So this year I'm already like 10 books ahead. I'm at 15 books that I've already read so far. And so I like to read a lot. I love to do diamond paintings,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
diamond art paintings, and just being with my husband and just really just spending time
Yeah.
with the people that mean the most to me right now because this is some heavy shit. Like this is
It
really
is.
some heavy, heavy stuff that, and the more that comes out that people might not take at face value for it being true or
Yeah.
that these things actually happen because they seem so unbelievable.
Yeah.
Those are the things that people need to believe.
Right. Exactly. I know there's some things that I've only read a few things and it was enough for
Yeah.
me. I couldn't do it. So I have to be that person that's going to step back. I will support other ways. I'm not going to be the one who's reading the files because I was having nightmares. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I can't be at this level. I just can't do it. But seeing other people saying, like, just so you guys know, like this happened to me or this, and I'm like, I will totally support you however I can that way. And I like that you're saying about like reading, not just reading the Epstein
Yeah.
files, but just yeah, go read other things. And I'm such a self-help book reader, and I've had to like stop. I'm like, I'm allowed to just read whatever.
Yeah.
But I do that. I'm very much, I'll get something from the library and I'm like, oh, well, here's my next guest and their book. So let me read that. And sometimes I'm like, I just need to read something a little lighter.
Yeah.
And the art, I love that. And then really giving people a permission. I want to give people permission, step back if it's like too much.
Ab-
If it's too overwhelming, you do not have to do it. There's other people doing, there's other people reading and they will take care of that right now, but step back and maybe find another way to support. And that's what I've been doing. I've been trying to just speak out and just that different things like that. That's all I can do, really.
If I can use my voice, if my voice is loud, which it is,
Yeah.
and I can use it, then I'm going to. And like Threads is like my main place of like where I'm at right now because it's where I can just speak the most freely at.
Yeah.
And I've been able to really amplify voices. Like I'm going to be interviewing one of the Epstein file or Epstein victims or
Wow.
survivors um, in the next few weeks.
Amazing.
So, just using my voice as loud as I possibly can to help these women get justice because it's not just justice for them. It's justice
Yeah.
for all of the children whose voices
Right.
have been silenced our whole entire lives.
Right.
And it is exposing a system of people that have been so powerful and
Mhm.
have been able to get away with the most heinous things
Yeah.
for decades.
Yeah.
It's disturbing how far up this stuff goes.
It's so disturbing. Like just, hearing certain names and stuff, I'm like, okay, well, okay, so now I'm not going to shop there. I'm not going to do this. And I'm like, it's so intertwined.
So
It's so intertwined and I'm so overwhelmed. And so, yes, I've had to step back because I'm too
yeah,
overwhelmed. I'm like,
yeah.
that's why we need to light a match and burn the whole system
Burn it
down.
all, the whole thing down. If we
Like,
have to start from the beginning, we have to start from the beginning.
yeah,
Because this system was built to protect predators and
yes,
pedophiles. And we're seeing that in real time. And if
yeah,
it's triggering to people, you're not being too dramatic, you're
right.
not being too overboard. What you're feeling is what it feels like to be in an abusive relationship.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
what it's like.
So that's what I've been doing. I've been using my voice because
Yeah,
I'm on my personal platform. I'm like on my personal page with my Instagram and stuff like that stuff. I'm not posting those kinds
right.
of things all the time, but I have started to because I'm like,
Yeah,
I can't do that. So I'm doing it a little bit on my podcast page. I get a little bit of backlash, but I'm like, this isn't the right place for you. I'm
Yeah,
like,
this is the right place for you.
I'm literally talking about narcissistic
Yeah.
abuse. I don't know what
That's
to
what
tell
I
you.
said. I on Facebook, I made
Yeah.
a post and people were like, "It's so disappointing that you're making your page political." And I'm
Yeah.
just like, narcissistic abuse, it doesn't stop just because it's in political places. Like, I'm gonna
Exactly.
call out the narcissistic abuse that we're being subjected to at such a high level that we're all being psychologically abused right now. Like,
Right.
we just had someone, the president of the United States just did a State of the Union address telling us that gas prices are lower,
Yes.
telling us that grocery prices are lower.
Right.
And we all know, and we know because we're paying gas prices that are higher and
Yes.
for groceries that are higher. And
Yes.
they're trying to force it into our brains that we're really living a better life than what we're living. That's
Right.
psychological warfare.
Exactly. And that's so anytime I have a video of him or whatever, I'll then make my own talking head. Okay, so this is what abusers do. Let me tell you
Yeah,
what he's doing so that people know. And that's the thing. Yeah, because I mean, thank God for fact checkers who are like,
yeah,
okay, the only place in the country that gas is whatever to whatever that he said is in this city. Nowhere else is it that. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's like we know from day to day what our life looks like. We know that we're struggling. The amount of money I work in a grocery store, so I know exactly how much things cost. And some days I'm like, oh my gosh, like even with my discount, I'm like, geez, Louise, it's so overwhelming. So to me, it's like not that I need to be excessive, but my life is very bare minimum and I don't do more, which to me like that part is like that's a good part of it, but that's not I did that out of necessity. Like we're in survival mode and it's like this is the thing, you guys, we're in survival mode. Like why don't you understand? It's hard to explain to people. I try to remember that we were in that position at one point where we didn't see what was happening. With me, I was not in physical abuse. I was in just psychological, not just, but yeah, I was in psychological abuse. And so I didn't know it was abuse. And we were talking earlier about society and stuff. You know, I'm almost 59. And so when I was brought up, unless you were being hit, it wasn't abuse. And so
yeah.
it wasn't talked about like that. And
Yep.
sometimes in movies and stuff, I don't remember what I was watching. I'll have to think about it. But in movies and stuff, I they always show like the physical abuse. And I always say, guys, every single abusive person is using psychological abuse because you don't hit somebody and you don't hit your partner and then they stay for fun. They stay because they're psychologically abused to stay there.
Yeah. Well,
And
I have a movie recommendation for you.
okay,
Kind of cool
okay.
because I'm in it.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait, I think I know, but go ahead and
I
tell
Love You,
us.
My Narcissist.
Yes, I'm
It's
so excited.
coming out this year.
I'm so
And
excited.
it really shows that psychological abuse. It really shows that emotional abuse, the ups and downs, heavy love bombing. It
Yes.
shows abuse outside of the physical, just physical abuse. And so I'm so excited for this piece of art to come out. I mean, Dr.
Yes.
Ramani is in it.
I know, I saw. It's like it looks really exciting. We'll have to put a link if we have it. I don't know if you guys will have a link yet or not, but
Yeah, there's a I'll try to get you a link.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll try to get you a link so you guys can try to get to because they're going to do a watch party.
Oh, awesome.
Early
Okay.
access watch parties. So definitely sign up for that. But like I'm so excited because like I had it to channel someone from like 12 years ago. I had to
Yeah.
channel the version of myself from like 12 years ago and
Yeah.
the character that I played.
Yeah.
Um, and maybe even a little more of someone that I didn't be, but I knew
Yeah.
why they navigated that way.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
So it's very my character is very interesting. You don't get to see her in the trailer. I wish you could see her.
Oh, darn it.
But yes, so that's a good movie rec. That's a good one
Okay,
for
good.
you guys.
No, I've seen it, the clips here and there and stuff. And so I'm excited about that. And that'll be a good one to have and at our fingertips. Cause I can't even like, I'm just thinking of like, even like sleeping with the enemy. It's like, okay, but that, yes, it was psychological abuse. And this is the thing. It's like, I saw that movie years ago. Never in my life would I have thought when she's trying to like straighten the towels in the kitchen and they have to be lined up just so that that's abuse. It's like,
Yeah.
she's like in survival mode, trying to make sure that everything's okay. So she,
Doesn't she's going to get in trouble.
right, exactly. And that's the thing. It's so, I'm always talking about different things and I'll be like, I wasn't allowed to do that and getting in trouble. We know exactly what that means. If you've been in abuse, you know exactly what that means. And you do what you need to do. And that survival mode is so real. Like that to walk out of my marriage and start healing and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I can actually breathe for a second."
Yeah.
That you're not living in survival mode and you can just live your life. And I think that's the hard part. That's what I hear from a lot of the ladies because I work with women in midlife most of the time. But of course, they're attracted to me because I'm in midlife.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Is this it? Are we done?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, no, we're not done."
Oh, and
No,
like it's funny because I actually had like my eldest client was 70
yeah,
and I was just like, you have she has so much time left.
it's true.
And so there's so much time left. And she even felt that too. She was like, yeah, I do have so much time left. It doesn't matter what age you're at
Yeah,
that you catch these behaviors or that you finally see that your
yeah,
parents were abusive
yeah.
or that it doesn't matter what age you're at. You now that you noticed when you were able to notice when it was safest for you to do
Yes,
so.
exactly. Yeah,
And you should be very proud of yourself and give yourself grace that you survived the situation that you were in. But like, I just want to show other people. I think my biggest goal is to show other people that there is a life after abuse. I
yeah,
mean, I am happily married and I help people to date intentionally. I help those who have survived abusive relationships just really try to get to a place where they're so comfortable and with themselves having that
exactly.
relationship with yourself be
Yes.
repaired after years of neglect and abandonment didn't even know we were doing because we were taught at a young age to not
Mhm.
trust our own instincts.
Yeah. And then, we get in that pattern of we have a role in the family system.
Hmm.
And it was all that. It was unlearning all of that for me, trying to figure all that out. But what really broke the cycle for me was leaving my marriage. I started then to have full healing with everybody. Um, People who were supposed to be in my life were, and then the people who weren't, who didn't like Laura with boundaries
Mm,
left. And I had so much healing with my kids, because even though they're adults, they saw it all and they saw more than I thought they did. They are very well aware. And so now everybody's doing really well and healthy.
yeah.
Thank God. Thank God. So we can actually talk about things when things are happening and with the state of the world and everything, we can actually have conversations and they're aware because they're, like everybody's healthy and going to therapy to undo what they had to endure
Yeah.
in their childhood, which we've had tons of apologies. So no, I can't fix the past, but I've apologized and that's been something for them for sure.
Yeah. Good.
Right?
Love that.
I'm breaking the cycle.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna keep going, that's for
I
sure.
love I love that. Breaking the cycle is so important. And I think a lot of us have reached that place
Yeah,
of really wanting to break the cycle, at least when we're talking about relationships with our parents.
yeah,
A lot of us are realizing what we went through in our childhood was just unacceptable,
yeah.
and we're holding our parents accountable for
Mhm.
them. And I've been fortunate enough for my father to take accountability for his behaviors
Amazing.
and
Yeah,
acknowledge that some of the things that he did was unacceptable. And,
yeah.
he has been very open to having discussions about what happened in my childhood.
Amazing.
Um, and it's really helped our relationship so much. I'm one of the fortunate ones. Not many of us have
Right.
a parent or
Yeah.
have someone who is a toxic person or has narcissistic person that has narcissistic tendencies,
Yeah.
not many of them will take accountability for their
Oh, for
behavior.
sure. Oh yeah, for sure. And even one of my kids was saying, "Oh yeah, well dad was saying this. He was apologizing. I guess I've seen what I did wrong." And they're like, "Doesn't sound like it."
Yeah.
Doesn't, like they're not buying into it. It's like they can see it. Thank God, they can see that kind of thing. They have their own relationship with their dad. I don't need to butt into that, but they do tell me things like that. They're like, I'm not believing him right now, or whatever. It's those kinds of things. I'm like, I totally get it. Like I would be wary too. You just, unless there's a change in behavior, and that was the biggest thing. I mean, I heard him say lots of things for 33 years, and there wasn't
Right.
ever a change in behavior. So what did it matter?
Right.
Yeah. It's exhausting. What was the other thing I was going to ask you? Well, we'll just end there. We're getting close to the end, and I'm excited about the movie, and we'll put all the information in the show notes so people can
Okay.
get a hold of you. And I'll also put um you'll also go onto my resource list. I do that for everybody, and
Oh,
then with your episode number, because you talked about like helping people date and things like that. And I always need those kind of resources so that if people want to get into another relationship, they can learn how to trust themselves and make decisions
yeah.
for the next time.
Yeah.
So tell everybody where they can find you, and we'll put everything in the show notes as well.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys can find me on social media at Coach Nia Renee. That's Coach N as in Nancy, Iarenee. Nia Renee is my first name. So just in case you guys do shout me out and say, hey, Nia Renee is my first name. You can find me on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube,
Awesome.
all the things.
Awesome. We'll put everything in the show notes, and you guys really connect with her and see if there's anything that she can help you with on this journey. She's got a wealth of knowledge and information for you. So, Coach Nia Renee, thank you so much for being on the show and the
Sure.
great conversation. I know we could have talked a lot longer, but but thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining me today on the That's Where I'm At podcast. Did the story today resonate with you? Do you think others would benefit from hearing the stories we are telling? Please go to Apple or Spotify right now to leave a review so everyone in podcast land will know you love the show. We want to continue sharing stories of hope and healing. I'll be back next time. I'll talk to you then.